let me start over. I should start the recording here. So, U.S. German midrange. This is an archetype I've been playing for several seasons now and seen a lot of success with, and it's one of my favorite decks in cards currently. And I think some of the new tools that we got with in Theaters of War make decks like this more viable. So let's go in order, actually. First, we'll talk about the 2-5 Marines. So one of the things that U.S. decks struggle with is dealing with big units in the front line sometimes. Like, they have things like torpedo attack and whatnot, but that's an expensive card and outside, and it only hits the front line, whereas something like this allows you to deal with big scary units that get into the front line that you might not otherwise be able to deal with efficiently because like your death from aboves are just like hitting random units that you don't want to hit. But at the same time, in matchups where you don't need to control the board, this thing can become a threat that also not only, you know, can deal damage to the enemy HQ, but also enables our M4 Sherman. So it's kind of a split card. It's removal against the aggressive matchups, and when we're looking to be the aggressor, it lets us, like, it's a decent body in the front line, like a decent attacker in the front line, and it also triggers our M4 Shermans. So I've replaced several cards, including the couple copies I had of this 5th Infantry Regiment, with this card, with that in mind. Still kept some number of these in the deck because I just want more proactive turn 2 plays since we are a mid-range deck, and again, we also want more units that can take the front line and trigger M4 Shermans. So that's why I kept some number of those in there, but I think trying out some number of these might be good. They're not as tanky as the 5th Regiment, but as I said, they can, when we lose the front line, we're more likely to be able to take it back with this card. Another cool card that the US got in Theaters of War, Patrol. So previously, US mid-range decks like this were running Gunship Mission, which was a fine card because not only it dealt 2, but it healed 2, but notably it couldn't hit units in the front line. The fact that this card can hit anything just makes it that much more versatile, and it has upside with the fact that it can get rid of pesky guard, smokescreen, or destruction effects that you want to get rid of from opposing units as well. So I think this card is pretty much just replaced Gunship Mission in most decks, unless you have room for both. We'll see though, like if this becomes a very burn-centric meta game, Gunship Mission still has value there, but I think Patrol right now is something I'm more interested in trying and see how it feels. And man, that artwork is great. Other than that, the only other thing we're running that's new is we're running this high altitude bombing, one of the new elites that we got from Theaters of War. Basically double death from above. 8 cost, destroy 2 random enemy units. I mean, that has to be good, right? Might not be great in this deck. Maybe it's a little expensive. Maybe we want other things. Like, we're not even running a full playset of Death from Above, so maybe just one more Death from Above is good enough most of the time, but we're going to give this a shot. And yeah, we're going to see. We'll get into some games and see how they go. All right. I think I keep basically all of this against a U.S. opponent. He could be one of the more aggressive builds, so FLAMMPANZER's nice. First Marines isn't bad in that case either. This is pretty much just a solid card to have anyway. Death from Above, I might want to toss this looking for more things to do on the early turns, but no, that could be true. I think maybe I'm supposed to throw that back as well. I think I keep the rest, though, not knowing exactly what US build we're facing. I don't know if I'd call my decks net decks, but they're definitely like casual try-hard decks, if that makes sense. So I could run this out just for it to get Gunship missioned. could just move this into the front line and shoot, though. I think it's okay. We'll run this out. Not a great threat against the a U.S. opponent, obviously, because it just gets awokened. Yeah, and our opponent doesn't seem to be playing... They're playing ramp, probably doesn't have a lot of 1-drops. I guess I could have... You can make the argument that I could save this for a JASCO. I think I'd rather just get threats out. And immediately punished. Immediately punished for that decision. Well, he's probably never moving this up and attacking with it, but it's kind of threatening us in the meantime. But I think we'll just go ahead and attack here. We can finish this off with patrol. If we need to. Or if we feel the need to. That's kind of nice. I think my sequencing here really screams strategic bombing, but we want to keep the board clear because I want these Avengers need to be better. Little too much of this, unfortunately. We'll see though. First Marines of his own would be pretty nasty here. That's also not great. It screens this Avenger. I think we're just dead to rights at this point, honestly. Well, so far these cards have been embarrassing. That's something. Yeah, I think we're just dead, honestly. We got ramped on. So, you know, mid-range deck, soft against ramp decks, going bigger than we are. Tends to be the case. Our deck is like looking to just... It's basically the US ramp decks without the ramp, because we're trying to respect aggro and burn a little bit more. And it's also because we like drawing cards with M4 Sherman. Definitely tossing these back. You can make an argument for this. This might be okay. Yeah, maybe I keep everything but the... yeah, I'll probably keep the tactical strike. It's okay. Our opponent's thinking long and hard about what decisions that he's making, so some ants are going to suffer in the meantime. The hit detection on these ants needs work. Do you get an achievement if you can squash one of those mosquitoes that flies by, I wonder? Because that would be... That would be impressive. Aha. Guess we'll just run this out. Well, opponent hasn't done anything the first few turns, so I guess he's probably more... He's probably not an aggressive deck. And probably has a handful of removal, maybe. I think we'll do the same. Just draw, looking for stuff. Strategic bombing can be very good. I don't think I take the B-17 here. It's either strat bombing or the first Marines, I think. Probably take the strat bombing. It's tough for... it can be tough for opponents to play around. He could be running a bunch of like Nebelwerfers and such. So opponent's gonna get punished for running this out. So we can do this. I think I will go ahead and move that into the front line. Yep, hopefully he plays out a bunch of stuff that dies to this. That'd be a nice way to clean this board up next turn. Yeah, I'm fine with that hit. Well, we don't need to use that anytime soon then. Our opponent's playing like discard control, so we just want to go fast. We're gonna save this as best we can for a Leopold. No, I'm not ready to run that out quite yet. Am I? I mean, I don't mind if it hits the Nakshub. I don't mind if either of these hits, I don't think. Yeah, let's get rid of something. Okay. I kind of like this. Because it gets rid of the Nakshub, which is obnoxious. Because this isn't super great while the Nakshub's on the table anyway. It's also slightly more resource efficient, because next turn we could Avenger something. But that's the other thing. What if he's not running enough things that Avenger hits? I've convinced myself. Oh, thanks, Mud Creek. Sorry I didn't see your message till now. I'm like super dialed in on this match right. Hope it works out for you. We saw a lot of success with it. We almost went, what was that? We almost went 5-0 with it to get into Field Marshal, and we just lost a very, very close game against an aggro deck. So, the deck seems reasonable. So that's kind of scary. Clearly our opponent didn't find Comet with this, because I feel like he would have eaten this guaranteed. Alright, perfect. I think I'm going to FLAMMPANZER and destroy this. Oh, I guess I could have moved this up and done that, and then this would have saved it 2 points of damage, and I could have shot him in the face. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have played this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if he plays Leo here, he takes away one of our card draws, but we get back an Avenger, we get back 2 FLAMMPANZERs. We're just going to attack strike it, and everything's all good. Going face there might be a bit aggressive. You could argue I'm supposed to move this up to block a second Hellcat from getting to eat one of these Avengers. Yep. And we didn't even lose a card draw either, which is great. Because we have the resources, I think we should just do this. Leopold was one of his cards he needed to get back in this game, and it just didn't really do that. I don't see how he beats our hand now. I guess he could be running... I guess he needs things like Annihilation and some lucky hits. I'm not going to run this out. It's only 1 damage, and I'd rather have a guaranteed way to trigger an M4 Sherman should we draw one. That's one of our ways to mitigate the card loss that this deck is running. That's an okay hit. That actually might have been, with the M4 Shermans in mind, that actually might have been the best hit. One of the best hits. Okay. We now need to race him. I think we just play one of these out. Okay, that makes our Greyhounds more likely to live. That might have been aggressive since we were at a fairly high life total, but... Oh, I should have led on this. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have led on that. Do I run that out still? I don't think so. So he should be at 2. We hadn't seen the countermeasures all game, and I just kind of wasn't thinking about it. Okay. Gives us an excuse to run out the Avenger. Fortunately, we're not finding our Shermans here. Do we just play this as a destroy this, gain 4 life? He got rid of a bunch of sudden strikes, so like this is fine for sure. Let's do this. Comet could steal this game from us. Worth noting is that he'd be dead here if I had sequenced properly. Hopefully he just plays something big and scary out. It's probably going to eat our tank. Yep. Okay, that's decent. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Guess we take the patrol. Okay, so we're going to... Oh, okay, now we gotta play this. I forgot about smoke screen. I should have just shot one of these. That's fine. Alright, let's see if he can, let's see if he gets it. Yeah, I feel like if we hit just one Sherman this game, we would have won for sure. Because it would have applied, we would have found our, like, removal, we would have found more threats sooner. It would have been a threat that would have found us more threats. Okay. Barely scraped that one by. Worth noting, though, I did make that big mistake with the turn with from the deep. So we had that game won 5 turns earlier if I had just thought about countermeasures and played out my Greyhound into that from the deep. I should have been thinking about from the deep. I should have been thinking about careless talk and missing. I just got, yeah. So that was a bad play by me. Our deck pulled it through though, so that's nice, but it's definitely something worth noting for the future. Do we want tack strike? I definitely want P40, but I don't know that I want 2 3s. I'd rather look for something else early to play. Yeah, there we go. I wanted a proactive turn 1 or 2 play, if I could help it. If he runs nothing out on turn 2, though, we're going to assume he's control, and I'm just not going to play this out. Okay. With that in mind, I think I'm just going to patrol that just to keep my life total high. Is that right? Yeah, let's do that. I love that artwork so much. Alright, that's pretty good. Squish. 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 Wow, 3 for 3. Okay, so German-Soviet aggro, probably. If he doesn't put something on the board, we're definitely throwing down the P40. I think we're still putting down the P40. No, I think we're doing this now. Yeah, these new boards are great. I kind of wish they had come with new music as well. Maybe that's something the future will hold. I was supposed to play this out. This has blitz. It was more resource efficient, but this was better. I think now's the time to strategic bombing. Takes away a credit slot too. Maybe I'm just supposed to use death from above there. Just get rid of this. So finally, our M4 Sherman made an appearance when we didn't end the game. I mean, we've effectively won the game anyway, I think. But, you know, drawing cards is fun, so we'll do it. That doesn't do any much. Well, doesn't do much. That checks that. So that's game. Draw more cards before we kill him. Yeah, it's looking like, yeah, this deck is very well set up to deal with traditional mid-range, or traditional aggro decks, like unit-based aggro. Definitely will struggle more against burn, however, because its only way to mitigate damage is pretty much JASCO. And so we'll see if the meta shifts towards, if the aggressive meta shifts more towards a burn-centric strategy, then maybe those patrols have to become gunship missions again. And it could be that that's still not enough, you know, depending on how much burn there is. Maybe we want to pair USA with Britain just to have some more life gain. Yeah, we'll see. I personally just really like the USA-German combination. Like in both iterations. In fact, we're playing a German-US deck next. Alright, so he's going first, and he's likely playing mid-range. Let's keep that and throw everything else back. Okay, he's playing aggro, looks like. Run this out on 2 unless we get a better play. Alright, now we're just gonna kill that. We'll FLAMMPANZER this. Works for me. Literally was fine with any hit but that one. So that's unfortunate. Could very well just lose the game at this stage now. Yeah, very likely to just lose because of that. Do I run out the Sherman? I don't think it matters. This is a pretty good card, chat. Sure. What was that about traditional aggro? Not being good against us? I'm sorry, what am I playing? I accidentally clicked a different deck, but I don't want to just auto-concede. So let's just play this out, and we're taking a brief break from what we were playing. This is the first deck that we played today, if anyone was curious and missed it. I think I like that better. That's tempting. Oh, that is very tempting. Okay, that's fine by me. Hopefully he goes engineers, moves this up, because we can hammer this, sickle the engineers. Perfect. Alliance would be rough here. But we have ways that we could deal with that, so. Alright. Enemy's just done. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled deck. Sorry about that. Kind of like all of this. I might not want this. No, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think I'll just keep this hand. If he's an air deck, this can absorb some of the initial damage that the little bombers can cause. This can kill a buffed bomber. This can kill a smaller one, potentially. This can also kill that. This can also kill that. I think we'll just run it out. So opponent's looking like a control deck with these two cards. Probably not air. Yep, looks like a German or UK German control. We'll go ahead and sudden strike one of these potentially. Okay, sure. That doesn't bother me that much. Let's get this down and sure. We should probably start dealing damage to these. This getting ultra'd is fine because it just means something more substantial is not getting ultra'd later. He's probably gonna carpet bombing next turn. I think we'll just have to be okay with that. Hope to find, I mean, we really wanted to see one of our 4 Shermans. Again, Sherman's being very, very elusive today. Now we find one. The turn where we probably can't afford to play it. 3, 4, 5, 6, no, that's not true. We could. So let's draw 2. Patrol this one. Kill that bomber. Huh, I'm surprised he didn't go for... he didn't shoot that. I think I'm just gonna get rid of this now. That's dying next turn anyway, so let's just finish off the guard unit, move this up. And once again, we're in the let's try to draw our Sherman's plan. Let's see what this hits. Well, that is unfortunate. Okay, their life total doesn't really matter all that much. Ugh, I'm probably supposed to save that Avenger for something better than this tank. Because this just kills this. I probably actually want to move this up. Just so I have a chance that if I draw a Sherman next turn, I can draw cards with it. These two can't kill this as of now. Ah, Commonwealth. Well, sure. Not much we could do about that. We might just try one more with this deck. It's not being very successful today, and I'm running a bit long anyway because we played a few more games with our first deck. And I'd prefer to end the stream right at 3 o'clock today because I do have somewhere to be. And I only have so much time to get there. These are probably not good against Britain as we've been seeing, so maybe we throw them back. Maybe we're always supposed to keep one of them though because we want some reliable way of triggering Shermans. Yeah, I could buy that argument. FLAMMPANZER? Soon, please? This might be aggressive, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this now. That could generate a lot of value for them over the course of the game. I think if it means using up my resources on turn 2, I think it's right to do that. Well, let's see if he has a thing to counter this. He does not. Yeah, maybe because of this card, the potential for this card means you need to save your sudden strikes. If he wants to throw this at this to finish it off, I think I should let him. Don't know if I want to tack strike now, though, but I probably just should. I should probably just... Should I patrol that? Maybe the dubs removal is fine. Next turn we can Avenger this, depending on what he does. no idea what was in our opponent's hand, but well, at least we got that achievement. I think that's a good spot to end it with this one. So yeah, I'm not sure if we probably definitely need to reevaluate the way this deck is built. I think we played poorly in some of those spots though, and just kind of got unlucky in others. I think those sets don't necessarily showcase the power of this deck. I'd have to go back in the replays to watch. I think it was just a combination of some bad luck and bad mistakes that prevented this from doing as well as it could have against some of those matches. But anyway,